Like a guitar strap was a snake for a second.
Maybe it is a snake.
Oh, the one over there by the Deadpool poster?
Yeah, we got that from the house next door. You know, somebody decided to fucking... Justin, you don't have to drink it, but you do need to be in on this. So, let me explain a little something to the people out there listening who may not know. Tonight's a bit of a somber evening. Hold on. Tonight's a bit of a somber thing. We're going to crack a cold one open for our boy Dustin. It's been 2 years and a week, and we miss you, buddy.
I'll drink it.
Salute.
Pause for effect.
Or just pause because you're Todd. Anyway.
I mean, he paused for a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's so 2-year anniversary coming up. I know it kind of sucks to talk about, but I think this is something we all decided we were going to do every year to not like, you know, it's I don't know how to say it. It's just one of those things you need to talk about. Get the shit out, get the demons out.
Every now and again it starts to kind of wear on me, so this will be good.
I feel like this is probably harder for Justin than anyone, but you know, as death usually goes. Okay, so we should probably go over the story, right? So those who don't know, our good dear friend Dustin Montgomery, he had a few problems in his life, and he decided to take his own life 2 years ago, in about a week from now. And it's still really strange. You know, I still haven't deleted his phone number, those kind of things.
Yeah.
You know, if this is kind of for people who may be struggling too. I know Todd and Justin and myself, it's just one of those things, man. 2 years, we're 2 years away from it, and it's a little easier now. It gets easier over time, but it's never, easy.
No.
It's never just like, I remember that guy,
I think the hardest part is just the fact that, like, when people start dying from the same thing, and it's people you love, you feel kind of helpless. So, like, I just had a dude that grew up with me and played, just around the block, just kids on the block, who committed suicide last week. And, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, dang, man.
Yeah.
What could I have done differently? And that's usually the question that happens first when you find out that somebody you love, like, is no longer here. And it really starts to, like, ask yourself a whole lot of questions and creates a whole lot of doubts of, like, oh, well, I'm a crappy friend because I didn't know about it. Or I knew about it and I was just like, he'll figure it out, right?
Well, you don't want to intrude. That's the hard part for me.
It is the hard part.
Because some people want you to cross that line because they're so desperate, and then other people know that you're crossing the line because they're desperate, and they'll
push you away.
They still do
harder.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like Dustin did a little bit of that because it's not like it was a closed subject. It's not like the subject never came up. It's not like people weren't privy to what was going on. He had addiction problems, and I thought what after all this time I realized, like, he said he didn't want to be remembered as a junkie, but I kind of wish he was around to realize, like, nobody who cared about you thought that at all.
No,
we just thought you were a friend that needed some help, and we could have. Well, it was in the last.
Oh, it was in the note.
Yeah. But I don't want to get too much into that. But I just want to. There's always those what ifs, and I wish this and I wish that, and that's my biggest thing is I wish you could have seen, that nobody that actually cared about him gave a shit, and nobody would have ever. If I was around and somebody would have called him a junkie, I would have fucking smacked him in their fucking face.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, dude. No one's a junkie. They're just people with problems, and there's ways to solve it, and sometimes they take it upon themselves to solve it permanently, and it's just, it sucks.
Yeah.
So
and that's what we're dealing with.
Expound on just that thought that you just said of just like loving and caring about people was really friggin' hard, because you get to a point where you have to choose whether or not you're going to continue to devote yourself to someone that obviously doesn't want your help. Right. And, like, that's the hardest part about it, because I lived with the guy for forever. I got I decided to move away from him because of the fact that he was doing things I didn't like. And like, I mean, not like he was doing like junky drugs or anything. It was just more along the lines of that like basic roommate crap of like,
right,
you smell bad, Dustin. You haven't slept in 3 days. I don't know who you are half the time. And it wasn't like
I like no sleep, Dustin.
you know, like
I did too.
That being said, like that guy walked around with so much crap that it really fueled everything that I liked about him, because he walked around with all this weight. He had to deal with it somehow, and most of the times it was
mental
because
weight, to be clear.
Yeah,
because he was a very skinny person.
Yeah,
I could actually arm hug him with one arm and touch. I could touch my chest and hug him at the same time.
We might could throw him like 50 yards.
At
the
least.
field.
Solid toss.
he would walk around with all this stuff, and he would produce some of the most talented, thoughtful, because he knew shame. He could recognize what you were going through and support you in it.
Yeah, I think he's the most talented person I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I've met some really talented fucking people. He had that thing. And it's just, like, you meet certain people in your life, and you're just like, you have that thing. I don't know what it is, but you have it. And holy fuck, I envy the shit out of what you have.
Yeah.
He made our band what it is today. Like, all the credit goes to him, and this is far before any of the bullshit.
Yeah, and the best part about saying that, with just what you said, is that this is not a new topic.
No, it's
not.
not.
This is something that we continue to recognize and have recognized for years.
Right, and we're going to continue to recognize. Every year around this time, I'm probably going to be doing this podcast for quite a while. You're going to just expect one of these.
Yeah.
This is a subtle reminder. One, it's in memoriam of our friend. We promised we'd never forget him, and this is kind of our way of just keeping his memory alive, because I always go back to this. There was a band called Beloved way back in the day, and they had this lyric, and it's always stuck with me ever since the first time I heard it. If we live in hearts we leave behind, then we will never die. So
it's a good one.
So, like, yeah, his physical body's not here, but the energy and the spirit of his, just honestly, between us, his musicianship and his level of just not of calling you out on your bullshit. He was really good at, you know, he was really good at saying, shut up, you know, do the thing. Like, let's work harder. Let's be better. He was good at forcing you in subtle ways and not so subtle ways. Sometimes, like, that's what I loved most about him, dude. He would just come at you and just be like, yo, you're fucking all this up. Like, just don't. And, you know, I think that's important, man. And I think it's important for people listening that, you know, you know, these are our own thoughts, and each of us have our own view on this whole thing. But to me, it's like, you know, it was right after it happened. It was so shocking. We were just kind of like in autopilot. We were just in an automatic mode where we didn't really do or say anything abnormal, but we just kind of went down this path of just like, okay, we know we're supposed to do this. Let's do this. We know we're supposed to do that. We were operating like a machine. Like we were written with code, because we couldn't break down. We could not break down. We had this huge show, this comeback show, which he was supposed to play, and we had a memorial like thing set up for him with his amp and some candles and
the shirt,
which I still have.
Yeah, I love that.
I
shirt.
wake up every morning to his ugly face just staring right at me, and I'm like, I ask my wife, and she's like, "No, we're never getting rid of this." I'm like, "Fuck." Dude.
So the funny,
but I want to say that you know, it as much as you know, it hurts the nightmare of that day and all the months that followed. You know, it was. You know, not only does Dustin, you know, no longer exist, but in a physical form, but now I'm worried about other people that he affected as well. And it's just, dude, it was a solid year of just the most fucked up thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my goal to tell people, you know, if you're having issues or whatever, you gotta speak up. Like, you know, it's scary as hell. I know it, and I know depression's a motherfucker. I don't really subscribe to that. I don't think I've ever actually been depressed, so I can't relate, but I can empathize. And you know, I have like 15 friends that have killed themselves, so I'm no like stranger to to the woes, but all of them have the same thing in common, is that they didn't reach out.
Mm-hmm.
They reclused, and Dustin, would I say it was surprising? No, it wasn't surprising, shocking, but not surprising.
Right.
And I think that's the worst thing. Me and you were talking about it the other day. Mm-hmm. This is actually Monday. We just had My Hands to War practice, and that's kind of why we're doing this today. Justin didn't really want to do this yesterday because he was kind of feeling it, and I was just like, let's do it. Let's do it today, Monday. Let's do it tomorrow, and we'll just, we'll talk about, because what it led to was basically My Hands to War's like next few years of our life as a band, and I said I still have it, like I still have his phone number in my phone, and I haven't, like, I screenshotted the last text we had, and I deleted the text messages. That's about as far as I've gotten with it. But Justin, I'll let you go, bud.
Oh, I was just going to say that the best part about that picture that's on that shirt is I think we were either mixing Jafar or the Outlier stuff, because it was when he was still in the other room.
I think it was Jafar. I think you told it.
It might have been Jafar. But that's the only time that I've ever actually taken a picture of Dustin where he was like, "Hey, take a picture of me."
Yeah.
Normally, he hated any like snapshot I took that I just took of him. He hated it. But he just he like, his hair was already kind of disheveled anyways. But we'd smoked inside the house, so he had that cigarette lip, and he just turned around. And he goes, "Hey, take my picture right now." I was like, "No." I was like, "You don't look shitty enough." I just took my hand and just greased back his head. And he goes, "How's it look now?" And I looked at my camera. I was like, "It's beautiful." Snap. And I was like, "I should make this a shirt." And he goes, "If you don't make it a shirt, we're not friends." So I made it.
And now I wake up to it every morning. Yeah, thanks, bud.
No problem, man. I mean, yeah, kind of just going back to what we said on the Midnight Depot podcast. I mean, there were a lot of things that he walked around, but he wasn't very good at hiding it.
No, he was not. Because he loved everybody too much.
Yeah, he tried his best, but there was a lot of pain, and like, unfortunately, I hate that whole like tortured artist shit that makes you like, your people romanticize that tortured artist to where it's like, "Oh, you make such beautiful art when you're in this dark spot." It's like, motherfucker, maybe I don't want to be in this dark spot.
Right.
Like, I can still. Garrett Rapp from Color Morale made a really good statement one time that I've always kind of subscribed to. Is visit the past, but don't stay there.
Don't live in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Man. It's really easy to take a trip.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to just as easily get in the car and come back.
Yeah. I 100% subscribe to that.
But yeah, it's, I don't know, man.
In a roundabout way too, that kind of sparked this podcast too. Like, his death was the only reason we were even ever on Midnight Depot, and me and Justin doing Midnight Depot was the thing that lit the fire to
finally do the podcast.
So it's kind of wild that out of multiple tragedies that followed, I have 5 friends that killed themselves that year.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all that, you have like this beautiful album. I know people haven't heard it yet. You've heard a couple songs if you've seen us live, but like, we're working on this amazing album. And I remember the night Justin finally decided to like open up about it. We were in Fayetteville. We were in Fayetteville at the
Backspace.
At Backspace
for Hot Mess.
Yeah, we were playing a Hot Mess show, and Justin goes, "Hey, okay, I have these titles. I'm gonna read them out to you, and you tell me, like, what does this sound like?" And you would be like, X, like whatever the song title is. And I'm like, "That sounds like a gravel driveway with glass in it." And you were like, "Okay, cool." And you would write that down. And that's literally what drove the tone for the entire album.
Yeah.
He went through was it 13?
12.
He went through all 12 tracks, and I would tell him what that meant in my brain, and he would write that description down and then wrote songs based on those descriptions.
And
for the new album,
for Pulse Kingdom. Well, when it was still called Pulse Kingdom,
right?
Yeah. So some of those song titles have changed, and some of those songs are not going to exist. But the track listing we have now, I'd say probably 5 or 6 of them are still pretty much the same.
Right. Well, it's a thematic thing, and we were
loud gasps for sure is one of the new ones we've been playing. That song is exactly how you described it to me. Still, R.D.M. Forever is pretty close, and then I'd say one of the later ones, maybe operating in overhead oceans. But I mean, I see you have something pulled up on your phone. So would you like?
Yeah. So I mean,
is that the lyrics to Dynamite?
Yeah. So the thing that I have to say about Dustin is just the fact that, like, no matter what you're going through, there's always someone that you can help. And Dustin, when he moved in with us, was going through a lot. He actually moved in with us to get away from stuff that he was dealing with. And even though he was dealing with so much crap, he gave me 2 conversations that really helped change where my life was at. I'm living in a house with 3 other dudes, really living like I just moved back from Colorado. Gave up on my dream. I was trying to drown that in alcohol and good times with my friends. And I met this girl that I knew that was important to me, and she had a dad like girls do, and that dad wanted the best for her daughter. And I remember like confiding in Dustin, being like, dude, this guy says all this about me, and he doesn't want his daughter to date me. And Dustin was just like, so what did he say? And it's probably the first time that I had to like think past the conflict that I was in to understand what was happening on the other side. And it gave this huge transcendent thought of like, oh shit, I really am not good. I need to get some shit straightened out. And like, there wasn't like this like judgment piece to him doing that. It was just along the lines of, well, yeah, Todd, that's where you're at. What are you going to do about it? You know? And like, then we just sat there. We had lunch that day. We watched House of Cards for like 6 hours. Didn't like talk more about it. And he was just like, Todd, you know that you're one of my best friends and I care a bunch about you. And that's why I said that earlier. And I was like, oh, I thought you hated me for a second. You know, so it was this really cool thing. And so then after living there for a little bit, me, Bryce, Justin are all in the same house. So, of course, we're going to do music, especially since me and Corey weren't friends at the time.
No, we were not.
And so Dustin jumped into it.
Yikes.
And I wrote a song about my suicide thoughts that I hadn't really shared with anybody at that point in time, of like going to Denver, living in Colorado, living my dream, and it getting all screwed up by everybody. And so I wrote this song Dynamite because everything literally exploded. And I didn't really tell anybody what the meaning was. And after I wrote it, Dustin walked up to me and was like, hey, man, this whole song is fantastic and I know what it's about. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, I know that you have things on your inside that you're not telling people, and that's okay. But this stanza that you're talking about is because you tried to kill yourself when you were in Colorado, and just said that straight out. And he, I
didn't know this conversation ever took place.
Yeah. So the stanza that I wrote was, demand your wants, request your needs, and never minimize the things that get in the way. It's hard to live with reason, so why not run away? Logic is made out to be a terrible compass, yet you can never get yourself home.
That's my favorite part of that song too.
So like that whole thing is about always like being strong-headed, because that's who we're trained to be from a childhood
especially
stance.
As men and boys.
Yeah, that's who we're trained to be.
No weakness.
Like,
toughen up.
That's all it is. Demand your wants because I want it, and never and just barely request your needs. So so when Dustin was telling me that, like, hey, it didn't occur to me that I needed to ask him questions until about 2 weeks before that happened. And I started just like talking to him at practice, realizing that something was wrong, but we weren't on the same level as we were when we lived together. And like, I just remember that being like the most defeating and frustrating thing in the entire world, because I knew that he needed me in that moment and I had no idea how to do it. Wow. And like, it was those 2 moments, even just those 2 moments of someone identifying like, hey, you have this in you, really changed who I was and changed like how I approached people and like how do you talk to somebody that's dealing with this shit?
Yeah.
Because now you know the consequences. Because
yeah, well, it gets dark when you turn the corner.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
But I think his death in particular to us as it pertains to our friendship, it was almost like the cement in the cracks that like rebonded everything. Like,
well, we had all started rebuilding the structure.
We had, and he was there the whole time and like forcing us to like. It was kind of like the old days. Like we had broke up for a bunch of years, and then Dustin was never going to be a full-time member. He was like, "I'm going to help you guys get back on your feet, and then when the album is released, we'll play the show, and then I'm going to bid you guys adieu and go do my own thing again."
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But through the recording process and like me teaching, like I taught myself how to record, which is not the best shit, but I mean, we started from scratch, you know, and we made this whole album from literally nothing, you know, with some fucking SM58s and Will.
Yeah. And a spark.
And a 100-foot snake that went from your
literally
your living room or your
dining room,
your dining room into the fucking shed where I was basically isolated with headphones
and nothing to go to, like nothing to go off of. We were just like, let's just go.
Yeah, dude. But when he recorded drums, that was the most awkward recording session I've ever been a part of,
dude.
I mean, you nailed it. You did all your shit basically perfect, but like just. Because I didn't have headphones, he had the headphones.
Yeah, and you had to cut off, and the main signal had to cut off because I don't have the right converter. So like you would just hear the only person that could hear was the person tracking. So the person doing the tracking couldn't hear shit.
No,
only the person playing the instrument could hear.
You could just basically, I would just see.
So you have to see the waveforms. Yeah.
So basically, once you stop contacting, you say, "All right, I'm about to start recording." Like we would say, give it like 5 seconds, then just kind of go. There's dead air.
Yeah,
it's scary.
And then you just see the waveforms pop up, and you're like, okay, he's going.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. No, but it's kind of weird to me, you know how. In the early days, he changed us. We were like this, like basically like attack-y kind of like, but more chopped up. We were like Attack meets the Chariot if he had to put a name on it, a label on it. And then he comes in and was like, he just made us more. He embodied all the insanity.
He really just put a heart in the Tin Man.
Yeah, and
we had a really cool Tin Man, and then he showed up and put a heart in us.
Yeah, and what's weird. What's even weirder still is that even in his death, we're not only like fuck the band, like fuck the band. It doesn't matter really in the grand scheme of things.
Not fuckable.
But to our friendships forever, like there's no unbonding the changes that we went through. Because like, dude, to play 4 days after your really good friend dies in a tragic, horrible fucking way. And then
every show after that,
right? But to sit there and just cry and bleed and sweat and just all the things, and you're just like you want to fucking scream. So there's no one to scream to because who the fuck are you going to blame?
Right?
Like you're just in the shit, and when it's almost like you know, the struggle was so real to get through just even that hour that we were playing on stage. And it was just like, man, when it was all over, it was almost like a dream.
So
it was like
that show, like
for me,
that show was just like it was going through the motions. It was really a machine that couldn't be stopped regardless because we had started this thing a year beforehand and nothing.
It was like a boulder rolling down a hill. Yeah, like, there was no stopping it.
When the news broke that this happened, I was freaking mad. And for me, that release of playing a show, like, it was the perfect thing that could have happened. I didn't realize how entwined and like threaded into everything I was going to feel because of the words that I was saying meant so much more now.
Dude, I can still go back and watch. You gave a speech.
Yeah.
I gave a speech. It was terrible. I was crying. Like, I was a blubbering fucking idiot the whole night.
All three of our speeches were... I mean, mine was just kind of short, but your speech about the phone,
yeah, it was so good, dude.
So, but like that's the thing though, is like there was this thing about Dustin that it to me it was a really it was a really freeing thing, but also this super like, now every time that I step on stage, I know that I'm carrying the same weight he did.
Right.
And any time that I see an animal, or any time that I see like that house or go anywhere near that place, like I'm reminded that, hey, I fell short. Yeah. And there's nothing that I can do about it.
No.
Like that's the other part. Like even just saying falling short is difficult for me to say.
Right.
Like, so there was this huge like, all right, now we're going to do this song called I Can't Live in This Space Anymore, which was really about, when we wrote the words, it was about like,
it was called Existing Between Dimensions.
It was about the band.
In when we wrote the song, it was about the band's journey and how like the scene wasn't something that we knew how to negotiate or navigate to the point where we actually could do things that made a sustainable life to us.
Right.
And so like I Can't Live in This Space Anymore was nothing about like, it was more along the lines of like this band hanging its hat and saying it was done.
Mm-hmm.
And like realizing that the hat rack is not where we can be. And so then whenever your friend hangs himself and you think about, I can't live in this space anymore, like just those thought processes are like, oh my God. Like I remember like that point in time, the emotion happening and like, oh God, he's still here. And not only is he still here, if I screw this up, I'm an asshole to him.
Yeah.
And so there was this guilt process that happened. There was this release that happened at the same time.
Well, that's
because
kind of
like
what
every time I felt guilty, I heard him say, "You're a dick."
Like, shut up, bitch. Yeah.
Shut up, man.
No,
like,
I literally felt that. That's why in my speech I literally was like, this energy in this room. This is like it felt. It was just like this unspeakable.
I would imagine that
thing.
it's the same as what any like New Orleans style funeral actually is.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Here's what we didn't realize. So, we go to his funeral. Was like 4 days later. We get there, and then you realize none of us should have been here.
No,
this was for his family, and shouldn't have been. We had our time. We didn't realize it at the time of the show, but when we're playing that show, it's like, dude, we're having Dustin's funeral right now. Yeah. That's why his presence was so relevant in that room, and we're all speaking of it as if yeah, our friend is gone, but you feel this fucking insane energy. No one was moving, no one was talking. It was just us playing. We had this.
I don't know what
projector
show you watched, but everyone was moving.
Well, they were watching. I have a photo of it from when we were.
Oh, well, the speech, yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
talking
what I'm
about
saying. Like everyone's watching this moment
Mm-hmm.
happen, and I'm just like, God, this is so magical. Like,
yeah,
it's something I've never felt on any level,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done my fair share of awesome things, and it's just like, this spiritual journey of just leaving your own body and looking at yourself while it's happening, and you're just like, fuck, man. I feel like it's the closest thing to an acid trip I've probably ever had was playing at that fucking show, because it's like as it's happening, I'm singing the words and they're hitting me like a brick. I'm crying as I'm singing, and I'm just like,
is it because you never saw eye to eye on anything?
This can't be right. It's like, this can't be fucking real. Like still, like 4 days later, it's like, this isn't real. This is not happening.
Yeah.
But
so I don't want to.
We didn't even realize like we're having his funeral right now.
Yeah, that's how I've always felt. And honestly, like as important as that song is, I love that song. I love what we did with it, and I loved playing it as many times as we did. I think hanging the hat up on that one is kind of necessary.
I can't get through it anymore.
Corey, you know what Dustin would say?
Shut up, bitch.
Shut up and do it.
Shut up and do it. Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's true.
I'm known for talking, and he would be like, just shut up and play.
Yeah.
So
shut up and play.
The thing that like I've carried on.
God,
since,
I miss Dustin.
Yeah, because now I just talk. I started a whole podcast. Fuck you, Dustin.
So,
bitch. Who has the last laugh?
The thing that I've realized is that the fact that like that's never gonna go away, ever. Like the fact that I couldn't be there to cut him down before he. So like all of that, like just the fact that I couldn't do it, it's that thought's never gonna go away.
Yeah.
Just like with the Garrett thing.
Right.
Like Garrett had a I'll never be able to relive that phone call and go pick up my friend that died.
Yeah.
So, like it's one of those things where like now this isn't a burden. This is a lifestyle. Like anytime I play a show, I know he's standing there with me. And I believe that. Like the reason why I hung from the rafters and like monkey barred across the rafters is because in my brain I thought,
just pushing you.
Maybe I shouldn't do this. And Dustin was like, no, you got to do it. I tore my ACL in a practice in your house. So you have to go do this thing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're a piece of crap. And those are the things where it's like, oh, I bring that joy. So like I bring that, like he brought that joy to me. So if I don't carry that on and let that pass through me, then there's a spiritual block that happens, and what's going to happen then?
Right.
So like for me, like I didn't get to talk about the Vino's benefit show, but like there was a part in that 30 minutes or however long we played where I broke down in my brain and realized that there was stuff I was still carrying that I hadn't identified yet. And I hadn't shared that yet. Right. And so then I went and grabbed that freaking ladder.
Yeah.
And climbed out there and had other people support me. Not because I'm an egotistical, condescending jerk, but because I know that the only reason why I'm still here on this world is to support other people. Like, so that was the part for me where it was like...
That's where it all...
It signified you have your support too.
Yeah.
Right.
So like...
Well, I just to piggyback off that, I love you. You texted the group the next day, or me. No, you were talking to me personally. You said, dude, I texted my dad, and all I said was, Dad, last night I walked on hands.
Yeah. So, like...
Shout out to Alvin.
Yeah.
I remember before...
He hooks me up with deer meat. Alvin's the best.
Before I ever moved to Colorado, before... Like, even when we were in conversations with getting signed and stuff like that, I had this, like, shame of being in a band of just, like, I'm a screamer in a band. And I wouldn't say that to people where, like, it could affect my job. Like, I'm trying to move up in the world. I'm trying to do the corporate thing. And, like, what I really remember about Dustin is that he never let any of that stuff, like, get in the way. He would walk into a place and be like, yeah, I play music and I do things that I want to do.
The bullshit.
Yeah, like no, but like he wouldn't say like, yeah, I play music and I'm kind of good at it. He would say, I'm a screamer in a band.
Yeah,
deal with it.
Well, that's me. I actually had a really good run-in with a guy from a place that I frequent for my job. I drive around and whatever, and I walk in and the manager of the building's like, so I hear you're a bit of a rock star. I was like, first off, no. That shit is dead, and how dare you, sir? And he was like, well, I got this video of... Apparently, one of the guys that works there was at our show in Hot Springs, and he got a little video of me. Lame Johnny was playing, and he got a little video of me playing. Anyway, I like that, man. I like that story. I like that Dustin still like fuels a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Because like that struggle and that ridiculousness that you have in your brain, if you don't like release it,
but that's
like you don't have the chance to like
heal from
possibly heal from it, but also more importantly, because we're not meant to be in isolation. We're supposed to bloom.
Right.
Isolation bloom.
How fucking
do you guys think I named this just on a whim?
How freaky is all that all came almost to fruition? It's creepy to me still. I don't talk about that album at all. I can't. It sucks to me.
I listen to it all the time.
Do you really? I can't do it.
I listen to we hate playing it because it's so long and repetitive. I think Our Genius Species goes hard as fuck.
It does,
especially the dunno.
That fucking push pull part.
I headbang with no headphones in. I headbang to that part at work when people aren't looking.
So let's field this over to. Okay, so sorry to put you on the spot, buddy. Dude. Being arguably one of Dustin's best buddies and living in the same house when this happened. And after all the bullshit you went through, writing. So, to those who don't know, Justin is like the writing force behind most of My Hands. Typically, if you hear a My Hands to War song, 97% came out of his brain hole.
Yeah, I can only claim one.
Yeah. I can only claim like 0.5% because I add my own fills. Me and Justin basically play the same drum style, so we write very, very, very similar.
Yes.
So even though he wrote it, I would have probably wrote the same thing. Anyway, from that moment, you decided to like, hey, I have this idea. It's a thematic album. We're gonna call it. At the time, it was called Pulse Kingdom.
Pulse Kingdom. And
it kind of morphed and changed, as thematic things do.
Right,
as you get the idea more structured, it turned into Ursel Kingdom.
Yeah. So,
but I want to say, like, not to like dredge up terrible feelings, but I know that you wrote one of the songs, and Dustin actually was able to hear it. He was still alive to hear the song.
Yes.
So and he was able to read the words that you wrote
even
about
before
him.
Even before his own demise, like he was able to see how we already felt about the situation at hand. That like we knew, like just from you, like what was like take us through the process of
to where we are now. Basically,
your best friends just died, and there's this whole mess of shit going on, and you want to. Clearly, most musicians, they'll funnel their anger and emotions into their music.
Right.
Like what was that whole... I think it's important for the people listening to hear, like, what's this journey like? Because, I want to just, like, reverse a little bit and say, like, there's help. There is help. And this shit is a fucking nightmare. Like, I want to tear up right now just thinking about it, but We're far enough away from like...
I'm like right here. I'm like at throat level.
It's like in my throat right now. I can feel the lumps in my throat. It sucks. Reach out, get help.
You got a number pulled up?
I do.
If you want to go ahead and
I want to go ahead and do that before we get into this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So aside from all of us, if you know any of us, you hit us up. Not only will we be there for you, but we will talk as long as need be. I feel like that's important to say. You can hit us up on Messenger, or if you have our numbers, call us, just however you need to do it. I also want to give out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It is 1-800-273-8255. You're not alone. You can get through it. And I feel like if our buddy was here, he'd be much better off now than the way things are. But it is what it is, and we can't change the past. So I do want to dive into like the more deeper part of it, which Justin, sorry, bud, but
no, that's fine.
You write this entire thematic album, and now we're all in your lane through like your eyes. Like, okay, we want to bring your vision to life, but walk us through like the process of writing a thematic album of your best friend dying.
Yeah. Okay. So to start this off, I need to preface this by saying that some of these songs were written before we even finished tracking Isolation Blooms. I had already started the concept. I think you and I were in here doing the direct line for bass because Taylor wasn't recording the bass. And I'd come up with the concept of I wanted to write an album that was quote unquote our return to form, like our like 2009, basically our initial Dustin era. But with the knowledge that we had now of everything.
like crazy, but put together.
Exactly. yeah, Isolation Blooms was all 4/4, and the structures were all there, but there still were like quick jumps that kind of were people were like, oh shit, okay, they're doing this part now. So I mean, it would take like a listen or two. With this one, I wanted it to go back to how we were, but also like I said, expand upon. So I had this idea, and I called it Pulse Kingdom. And all the track listings would be like track 1 is a P, starts with a P, track 2 is a U, and so forth all the way down. Well, Pulse Kingdoms just started out as every song had a thematic link of the idea and the notion of death, because death is sung about a lot in music. It's a hard topic to sing about because you want to try to have a very strong impact. You want
not just strong, but just like a thought process of connection and like rooting to like hey, I see you, like this like reveal process.
Yeah, no, that's a much better point. But and people, and our contemporaries have written albums about loss. Like Architects just put out an album about that's their first album they wrote without Tom.
The one before that, All Our Gods Will Abandon Us.
Mhm.
Like that story is freaking hard to even hear. Like
Yeah.
imagine if like Dustin had wrote us an album knowing that he was gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then said, "You're gonna do this."
Yeah. Oh God, I don't even
like our music. Like in hindsight now, like the lyrics that we wrote for Isolation Booms and like that whole process, like knowing that he was down with all of it because he was feeling the things that we were talking about this band that quit.
Yeah.
And he was like in the thought process of quitting. Like
Mhm.
in hindsight, that's hard. But imagine like knowing it like first, like knowing that like, hey, I'm gonna die. Not only am I gonna die, but you're gonna be there when I do. Like,
yeah.
like, sorry, I have a huge connection to that one.
No. I completely agree. But the Holy Hell is just really good. But so I had one of the new songs that we play live called Loud Gasps in Empty Rooms. And I think I had one originally. It was called Underwater Forever.
That's it.
But now it's track 11, which is Operating in Overhead Oceans. Those two aren't necessarily linked to Dustin 100%. There's like you can take little parts to where it kind of fits, but like Operating in Overhead Oceans is about a campaign of Call of Cthulhu that I played. Where my character committed suicide and actually got quote unquote the best ending. It's like a tabletop RPG. My character saw an apparition from another world, and I killed myself, and I technically won. So that's dark in itself. It's the only time I've ever had a panic attack while driving. I drove back home to Perryville from Chris and Allie's behind our Starbucks at like 3 a.m, and I had to stop. Because the envision of what I saw. So I wrote that song, and the music for it just fits in our style. Loud Gasp is basically just about. I mean, I would just say like it's your typical like haunted house,
yeah,
like a haunting story. But now that we have this theme, just the theme.
Yeah.
There's no concept. So I start writing these other songs. They start having these ties to me personally, and then like I start writing, and then after Dustin dies, I change it to Ursula Kingdom for a number of reasons, but the main one is that one of Dustin's favorite bands is Horse the Band. Everybody knew that. One of Dustin's favorite songs by them was a song called Face of Bear. There's a specific line that says, "I'll die with the honor that I choose. I'll fight with Face of Bear and lose." That means you lose to the thing you fear the most.
Right.
So for Dustin, I would say guilt or hidden fear.
That pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, and then Ursula is just describing a bear.
Right.
So you kept the kingdom part. We moved some stuff around, blah, blah, blah. So I get probably 6 or 7 songs in. I'm really happy with the direction it's going. Dustin's hearing parts here and there, and he's like, "Hey, that sounds really cool." He's like, maybe tweak it. And that's the only time that I was like, "Look, man," I was like, "I know you want to help, even though you're not in the band, and you said you would help." But I was like, "Right now, I'm writing this shit. You're not. I'm sorry." And he was like, "Nah, man, that's cool." He's like, "You do what you want to do." He's like, "I was just giving an opinion." He's like, "If you don't want to change it, if you want to keep it this way," he's like, "I'm not saying it's bad." He's like, "That's just not what I would do."
Hey, what part did that happen on?
I'm not going to tell you. It wasn't in Insignias. I'll tell you that.
I think it's weird that this album clearly has songs we're going to be playing for a long time and still has his flavors on it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
He was alive. He was
Insignias,
alive to see the songs.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Okay.
Insignias sounds like Eric Christian Olsen Disease Part 2.
To you,
that
was an Outlier song.
Yeah, I know.
It was an Outlier song that was meant to be a My Hands to War song.
I know.
It was originally written to be a My Hands to War song.
Actually, when Dustin came to practice for My Hands to War, he knew that song.
Yeah. So like there was this thing that just like I don't know. There's I'm not gonna interrupt you. Keep going.
No, go ahead, man.
No,
it's fine. Dude, I've got what I need to say. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I want to hear the story about Insignias.
Keep going.
Okay, so
Directly from you again.
okay, so like I said, I get like 5 or 6 songs in, and then I start writing this piece of music. The intro sounds Dance Gavin Dance-esque with like with that banana, and then it does like a Silverstein style part.
Yeah.
Then the middle has like a break part where it gets really clean and pretty, and there's like back and forth vocals, and or however we're gonna do it. There's back and forth guitar parts and all that shit. It's really like 3/4 doing like real pretty. Could be like almost played on a keyboard. Emery.
It's very Emery-esque.
I was totally
like The Question.
Oh, dude! Yeah. When I say Silverstein and The Question, I mean Emery. I was literally listening to Discovering the Waterfront and The Question back and forth. I had gone on a tear just listening to old shit. So I wrote this piece of music. I finish it. I'm really happy with the intro. The verses I wasn't super crazy about, like with the D beat and everything. I was really happy with the middle part, and then the outro, which is the same as the intro. So like I was like 75% happy with that song. I was like, this could probably use some work, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I had I saved it, I exported it, I put it on my phone because I have a MIDI player on my phone. I think I want to say it was the last hacking show we ever played. We played at Whitewater.
Oh yeah, I was there.
And Danny rode with me.
Yep.
Because he helped us load up. I showed Danny the song with no words. I had no words at all. And I was like, this is a future My Hands to War song, but I'm just really not feeling it. And so I played it for Danny. And Danny was like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. He's like, I think this is great. He's like, I feel like this song needs to be more lyrically driven than just music.
Right.
And that was the first time that in my head that someone other than my bandmates was like, someone on the outside who kind of knew what we were about, but it's the first time someone ever been like, "Hey, man, you don't have to make the music super fucking crazy. Let the lyrics drive."
Sometimes the lyrics are the front man. Yeah,
yeah, and like I was like, "Fuck, he's right." So like that hit me hard, and I've never told him that. That hit me super hard, like for like 2 days. Then we did.
That's like literally Lame Johnny's motto.
Yeah,
that's funny. It's funny.
So like.
It's also why I'm extremely exhausted at the end of every show, just because I'm trying to match your ridiculousness with the words that I scream.
So a couple of weeks. This was probably a couple of weeks before, like, no, maybe a month before he passed away.
It was about a month.
Yeah. After that conversation with Danny, I'd say probably about a week later, I started thinking about when we did that little short hacking tour and he would like break away to go use like in his car. Or when we were in Fayetteville, I drove him back to the hotel room that him, Dave, and Erickson stayed at so he could use.
Right.
And like, I knew that's what he was doing. I wasn't going to fucking stop him. I'm not going to be this large, physically imposing man and like intimidate him into not using drugs, because if I scare him, he's going to do something worse. So I had some bit of a forethought to think about that, but I played it safe, and I was like, I'm going to take him back here. I would rather him be comfortable and warm so he can ride this out on his own.
Right.
Because if someone else is here right now, he's never going to hear the end of it, and it's going to fucking fragment his mind even worse. So when we got home from that tour, he was talking about like going to rehab. He was going to start seeing a therapist in early 2017. That was the whole goal. And we were like, cool. So then DJ moved out. So it was just me, him, and Natalie. And this was at the very end of January. So like probably like almost exactly a month. Dustin and I, being the co-leaseholders on the house, we had seriously considered breaking the lease, just taking out a loan to pay off Aaron at the the rent place, and just going and finding a small shack of an apartment, just me and him. And we talked to Natalie too, but she wasn't willing to like move into a new place. She either wanted to move back home with her mom or stay at the Keeley house. So we all had a group chat together, and we set out. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's clean this place up. Let's start really making it a home. Like, because this could be a place we could live for a while before we move on with our lives. I'm like, yeah, man, that's great. So he had stopped using. Then unbeknownst to him, I found a needle in the bathroom, and I didn't bring it up to him. I noticed it, and I was like, you know what? I'm either gonna say two things to him. I'm gonna kick him out, or I'm gonna beat him up.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no forgiving this.
Right.
But instead, I found a third option, and I started driving around, and I kept listening to Insignias on repeat, and just repeat, to where it'd be playing in my head with no headphones on at work. I was so distracted, and so I have the lyrics right here. If you guys don't mind, I would love to read them.
Read them.
Woo. Are you ready, Todd? Okay. So
I wasn't ready for this whole damn thing.
All right.
You told me like 5 minutes beforehand we were doing
yeah,
this.
so
sorry, buddy.
So you guys also need to know that if you're listening, that Dustin heard this song first with lyrics and the music as a full song before anybody else in the entire world besides me who wrote it. So, Insignias. A cold, dark place is the last destination you want to be when you're alone, but you invited all your ego deaths openly. Your spine straightens out when expiration comes to collect your failing bones. Your monotone glare is the only answer they need. May death release your spirit into the wild. May your death be never slow, but ever righteous. Stay underwater forever. So that's like a throwback to that other song title tracking. Yeah. The gold insignias that they wear upon their robes are symbols to all who try to stave it off when they know their ends are inevitable. It's a miscalculation, a sentence, the urge to release your karma as a funeral dirge to immediately notify your living brethren that your soul has descended on. And then that's when the break happens, and it goes to the Emery part.
Yeah.
And then in the after, you're dead, but your memories still flash, bright and brilliant, burst into tears. Your fear has now swallowed you, and you succumbed. Your hope was only inches away, but you were too scared to crawl. Before you were here, you assumed travel was your own therapy to heal. You saw spirits chanting in languages you'd never seen on scrolls or heard on your TV. Every reaper you think that has passed by your door all died the same way, anxious and scared of the unknown. They want to break you, rid you, empty you, and strip you of your discontentment. Your debt's been phoned in. God, this line sucks so much. Your death means less than my disappointment in you. Okay. And then the end is, the black kept you trapped in cages unlit. A miserable existence traded in for an eternity of darkened cloaks and gold insignias. And I always imagine the robe wearer insignia having people are just like basically the Grim Reaper.
Right.
So I just want to rewind and say, like, in hindsight, there are connections to that where, like, I don't know how other people can see it, but or how graphic I should be or should not be.
Go ahead, man.
Whatever you want.
But anytime you talk about robes and gold insignias, I think about the fact that the rope was bright freaking gold, and like walking into that room. I mean, like, I don't know how you lived through him reading that and him talking to you about it, and then continuing on for a few weeks. And then the next part of, like, then you took care of his dog after he died. And the scene, you can edit this out if you want to.
No, absolutely not.
There was a week later, like after the fact, that Justin was like telling me about how, all right, I'm still here. I'm like, dude, you need to get out of the house. And he's like, well, there's this dog that really needs me. It was Dustin's dog, and so
didn't he get on TV?
Yeah, Jimmy did make it to TV.
So like, but like.
Sweet Jimmy.
Justin had like this incredible shock that like really saved him from the environment that he was in, and I don't understand it, because when we walked into Dustin's room, the chair was still directly underneath the hook.
I don't say this often, but Justin is more powerful than he realizes.
The hook
You're a good
still
man,
had
man.
the rope that was up there.
The
police had cut down, and
I know.
I just broke down and was like, Justin, dude, you can't be here.
Yeah.
Like, not only can you not be here, like, how do you be here and not see his face?
Well, all right, so
like there were some strong things that happened that day that like I looked up to you in, and the fact that you were living in that house alone, everybody else was gone, and you were just living with a ghost, like that right there, like not being able to tell that story to people, like drives me insane because we're so capable of pursuing and continuing on, even though we're living in the grimmest shit.
Yeah. Well, so to kind of push it back to that, so what Todd's talking about the night of, I mean,
sorry, go back to what he said to you after.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to touch on that as well.
Yeah, no. So when I played that song for Dustin the first time, he just got up and he was like, I fucking hate you. I don't like this. And he went in his room and he eventually came back in and he was like, okay. He's like, I'm better. I've sat down and thought about it. This is a really, really good song. He's like, musically, it's not your strongest. But he was like, I know.
I fucking love that.
I know. He said, musically, it's not the strongest thing you've done. But he was like, those lyrics are so fucking dark and hurtful that, you know, he was like, I'm really having a hard time not just like freaking out on you.
Right.
But he's like, I know you're literally doing this out of love.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's why it's so hard, because I know this is coming from such a pure place that I can't process it that way. It's like, my brain comprehends the fact that this is done out of love, but how my heart feels.
Right.
He's like, he's like, you just ripped it out and just smashed it.
That's how I think. Well, that's how I think about the whole situation, man. Like, I feel like he just wasn't him. You know? Like, I feel like Dustin in the moment wasn't Dustin. And it was a lapse of miscommunication between him and his real self.
So,
that life is so fragile, man. It only took that much to make it go away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, I want to make sure that Justin knows the fact that this song didn't kill Dustin.
No.
This song was really just like his. Of the three options that you just said, of like beat him up,
kick him out.
Or tell him in a way that you knew how to communicate to him that he was screwing up.
Yeah.
Those three options, you connected him to a way of like, look, dude, I love you. And not only do I love you, I'm going to put as much passion into this message to you as I possibly can so that you actually get it. I feel like he got it. It was just the fact that he was so far gone on that stuff that
got in the way, man.
That he didn't believe that support was there.
Yeah.
And like, I hope you know that in no way, shape, or form did you perpetuate that. I feel like you actually put a pause on it.
Well,
and the reason why he screwed up the first time is because he thought about what was said in that song.
Yeah. Well, I told Corey recently, I haven't told you, that I still I'm fine in terms of like, yeah, I still get sad about him or whatever, but like, every now and again, I get really, really bad survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Like not all I'm not going to say all the time, but like it
hits you when you don't realize.
Like, no, the worst is like when I've been thinking about him all day at work and like I'll be home.
I feel like here lately you've been really having it.
Yeah. Well, it's anytime this comes around, I think I'm just always going to feel it. Right. And I just, you know, I've told other people like,
well, and that's why yesterday I was like, dude, don't even no worries, man. I get it.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
I've been telling people, I was like, guys, I'm just letting you guys know right now, like 2 to 3 days before and after the 28th, I was like, if I'm unbearable, I was like, please just hold on.
With me, yeah,
just let either leave me alone completely or just, you know, let me be and just, you know, talk your shit later.
Just call me.
Yeah,
it's really crazy how
you know, hold on, you have to say this, dude, like. Bro, you're strong. Your brain is strong. You're a strong motherfucker. No one I know could have fucking gone through this and still come out.
Well, I didn't even see it.
I know you didn't, but dude, we all know the other side of the story.
Yeah.
It's things there are so many things that we're not saying, and I feel like it's from fear of saying it. But it's like, dude, you're stronger. You're stronger than you know. And I don't do this often because we basically shit on each other 24/7.
Yeah.
Mad props to you, my friend.
Thank you.
You're an amazing individual, and doing what you've done, it's crazy.
I don't know any other way to deal with
I
it.
know.
Honestly,
I'm just
I know.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, no, I know that there are, safe spaces to talk about this type of stuff to people. I know that there's therapy available and everything, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't benefit from it. It's just right now where I'm at doing this album.
That's therapy.
I just need everybody in this room and everyone listening to know that this album is not. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's not for you.
Right.
It's not for anyone else. It's literally for him.
Yeah.
This is going to be the strongest, most passionate, empowered love letter
I feel
I've
like
written
this is
to
your
anyone.
magnum opus, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like this is the best.
I
know
was-
no one's heard what we've heard,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but like the things you hear back, you're just like,
Yeah.
are we really about to embark on this
Oh,
journey?
I told
Like,
DJ.
it's like,
I told DJ, the guy who's producing it, for those who are listening.
yeah.
I was telling DJ today when we were moving his stuff. I was like, man, the album that we have after Ursula Kingdom, I was like, it might not be better, quote unquote, because
No.
because we're going to do such different ideas.
But we're actually like, okay, so we all know what this album is.
Yes.
And we've all agreed to it, and we've all subscribed to what the outcome is of this album. It's very sad. It's a very poignant thing.
Yes.
The next album, we basically all agreed, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's write what we want. Dude, we have a rap.
We're going to have a rap part.
We're going to have a rap part. Like, I mean, we're just like, let's go to the other end of crazy.
The
Hey,
best.
Dustin, you want to know something crazy about that?
What's that?
I'm getting I'm buying Reason, and I'm gonna write the beat for that part
Oh, shit.
You ain't ready, dog.
Just so everyone knows, I know
with Bryce's help.
I know we are kind of deviating from the topic, and we will get back to the sad shit. But just to kind of bump everybody's spirits up a little bit, when we had the meeting a couple of months ago about the future after Ursula Kingdom, when I was just like, hey, let's just do whatever the fuck we want to do. So if anyone has an idea, let's just throw it out and see what everyone
so we'll
thinks.
take one song where if you have wanted something that My Hands to War should do,
Yeah.
we're gonna have one song that's
That was-
devoted to people who don't suck.
One of Todd's songs was like, hey, come up with an idea that sounds like something My Hands to War would do, and then have one of your own idea, and we can incorporate it. And Todd, literally no spaces, just went, I want to have a part where Corey raps. Just like that. And we all kind of looked at each other for like 5 seconds, and we are just like, yeah, let's do that.
Because the most joyful time that I've ever had out here is whenever Corey went off on a rap rant that lasted, I don't know, 2.5 minutes.
About my outfit?
Yeah. It was great. It was a joyful time.
Those 64 bars, I don't remember any words that were in them, but that was
No,
fucking
but they were
fire.
the best slam things I'd ever heard.
So those,
Other than Danny and Corey's text about Justin's roast.
yeah,
Yeah, I still want to hear all those, man.
I rap good, bro. I got skills, bro. I grew up listening to fucking Biggie, Tupac, Bone, all those guys.
Yeah,
Listen,
gangster
I
rap.
cannot. And listen, when you told me you want me to have a fucking rap part over a song, it made my life.
My dick grew, or my brain grew a dick.
It's probably the only time I've ever distracted you from a grill.
You ever had a brain boner, bro? Tell me I get to rap live.
So to go back to a
Yes.
different topic, but also funny.
To make it sad again.
Yeah. Well, actually
Let's
not.
bridge it.
So think about being in a house with 4 dudes, and
Hi.
this is post. This is post me meeting my now wife, and trying to be a respectable individual and go back to school and do all the cool stuff.
I didn't like that guy.
Yes, you do. Because now someone else pays for shit.
Wow. Wow, Todd. You're going to call me out like that, bro.
Wow.
I pay for mental work.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
No.
Okay, so
Let's not forget my discount, gentlemen.
the only time someone else replaced Earl.
Oh my God.
You fuck.
Wow.
One of the funniest times
was good. That was real good.
So this is when me, Bryce, who was a member of my Insta, Dustin and Justin were all living in the same house, and Dustin came home with this guy that I'd never seen before, didn't know anything about, other than the fact that I smelt him before I saw him. His name was Belvis, Black Elvis.
Oh my God, I forgot about Belvis.
I remember Belvis.
He stayed in our house for 2 days, and it took 24 hours before I could even ask Dustin. I'm so angry because I'm in the biggest room in the house, but it was this weird add-on room, so I didn't have a door. And it's like where all the air in the house went because it was not well insulated. So I could smell this dude.
Yeah.
And like I just remember being really frustrated with Dustin that someone I'd never met before was in my house sleeping on my couch and totally just like invaded my space. Like I didn't know this guy. He ate our food. Like he claimed to be Dustin's like agent, but turns out that he was just some dude off the street that Dustin was friends with.
Yeah.
And like I remember these stories of just like meeting people I never would have met, seeing people in a different way because Dustin said, "Hey, stop being a dick." And it's probably the first time that I realized that I had this huge negative bias in my brain about people.
Yeah.
Because of like instincts, right?
Right.
Like not only am I white and this guy's black, and I need to identify that, but this dude smells bad. Like I don't think about maybe he doesn't
He's really loud too. He's really loud.
Like I don't think about maybe he doesn't have water, maybe he doesn't have things to take care of this. Like I don't know this guy's story.
It's just face value.
It's just like you're screwing everything up, man. And I remember walking up to Dustin and being like, after 24 hours of this guy being in our house, who the hell is this guy? And he's standing literally less than 3 feet away from me. And Dustin was like, "It's Belvis, man. He's a pretty cool dude. Have you talked to him?" And like, he just had this way of like talking to me in a way where like,
he would kind of disarm you. Yeah.
Like he would disarm everything about you and like, "Oh crap. Yeah. So Belvis, like, what's up, man?" He was like, "Well, I'm Black Elvis and I can do things." And I was like, "What can you do?" And like, we sat there for 4 hours. This is a guy I would have never, ever seen, talked to. Like, I would have looked at him and been like, not worth my time. I like, and that sucks to say, but like, it goes back to like the Vino's benefit show of like, you never know who is actually touched by you. You never know who's going to hold you up when you need to. Like, it's this thing where it's like, oh, crap. Humanity is way more important than whatever the fuck's going on in my brain.
Yeah.
And don't mean to cuss. I'm sorry. I don't like cussing at other
That's all right,
people.
bro.
You know,
You're on Crash Cast, bro.
I know this podcast is one that doesn't care about those things, but like, I just remember.
Fuck.
Got it out of my system.
I just really remember like, oh, it doesn't matter how high a horse society says I'm supposed to be on. Humans are humans, and we should all respect people.
Right.
And like, he taught me that about a character as crazy as Black Elvis, who called himself Belvis and was really loud. And even though he was really loud, he slurred worse than any drunk I've ever met.
Facts. Big facts.
So
No,
No, not yet. These are for the end.
Yeah.
They're like a cigar, but they're more like a cigarette because they are cigarettes.
I just
don't usually
want to
allow smoking
say,
in this room,
don't throw me things
No, I know.
about a metaphorical fat lady
Yeah.
that is also singing,
Okay.
which is this fucking podcast about a friend that passed away.
Justin, did you get through what you wanted to get through?
Yes, he did.
Not 100% completely.
Go for it, brother.
Hi,
There's my wife. Get out of here.
Kaylee.
Bitch.
We love you. Thank you for
Love
cutting
you,
my
boo.
hair.
Thank you.
I love it.
I need help with my beard. Looking kind
Okay.
of
All
out
right.
there.
All
I
right.
want Justin to finish his story, and then we're gonna wrap this bitch up,
Yeah.
and we're gonna hug each other.
Yes, we are. So the night that Dustin passed away, Todd and his wife came out to this house, Corey's house, because that's where we were. And Corey and I had already been sitting outside, just kind of like waxing poetic.
Well, I pulled up and I flipped you off.
Right.
I've told the story 100 times, but I flipped you off and you didn't respond, and I was like, huh.
Oh, yeah. This is after I was making all those phone calls.
But your mom had been sick, so I was like, oh no, like, don't, like, I went to her.
Right.
I was like, please, God, don't tell me no. Like, and I get out of the car and I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? Like, you know, like I felt something. You know how it is, dude.
Right.
You feel like the moment, and you go, yeah, Dustin's gone. And I just like, you're fucking kidding me. And you were like, no, he's gone. He's dead. And I was like,
that was
fuck.
the hardest thing I've ever
done.
done.
And I just grabbed you and I hugged you.
Yep.
And I screamed. And I screamed out loud. And I don't remember really anything much after that, but I remember being not really. It's just the weirdest thing, dude. Like, I was like, Justin, you can't go home. You have to stay here.
Yeah.
Like you know.
You went mother hen mode.
I did. I definitely did. Like, I have to protect
mother
my friend.
hen, but also called. I mean, I like to call it a better
Right,
thing
like,
that everyone else knows is mom bar.
Yeah.
You stuck that hand out and said no.
Yeah.
You will not hit the windshield.
Right. Well, my biggest fear
That's
in
wrong
life
to say.
is between him and my wife is like, well, I can't lose either of them. I need to die first. So,
Oh, motherfucker, you're gonna die first.
I hope so. So I was like, damn, okay, you got to stay here. So he stayed here, you know, all that bullshit.
Yeah, but before I came back and stayed here is what I was trying to get to.
Oh, the story of the.
Of taking you back to the house.
Oh, right.
Where you kind of.
So
Well, you were getting your hair done.
Yeah, I was just getting my hair dyed.
You were here to. Were we weren't even supposed to
No,
practice.
I was I was almost done.
Yeah.
before that part, Bryce's now what? Or Bryce's then wife. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Then
Were they married? I don't know if they were married by that point. But anyways,
Shit.
regardless,
Ooh, we're
Cindy,
bad friends. We're bad friends.
Cindy Lee
Cindy, you're a rock star. I love you.
called me and said, "Todd, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that Carson passed the house and there's 3 cop cars and caution tape all over the house." And like they had already moved. Yeah, so they were married at that point.
Yeah, no, you're right. They had to have been married.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
They already moved to Connecticut in
Yeah,
like,
since March
'cause they weren't here.
since March 13th, 2016, almost coming up on 3 years, baby.
Love you guys.
So yeah, so that was a thing that happened in like she called me and was really worried about like whatever happened in the house. She was worried that everybody was going to jail. She didn't maybe like there was another thing that was going on that people didn't know if it was
She
resolved
thought it
or
was
not.
me.
And
Yeah.
and
A lot of
well, she
people
didn't
did.
tell me that. She just
Yeah.
told me, Todd, you need to call Justin because there's cops everywhere. So I called Justin. Justin answers his phone and just says, "Hey man, I'm okay," and then hung up the phone.
Yeah.
And then I called Corey and I was like, "Hey, where the hell is Justin?" He's like, "He's at my house. He's out in the front yard." And you didn't know at that point.
No, I didn't.
And so I'm like, "All right,
You called
cool."
me as I pulled up, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So then
So that's who you were on the phone with.
Yes.
When,
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So then like I hung up the phone, called my boss, and like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on. It's family emergency because you're family," and
Thank you.
and took
100%.
off. And by the time I got here, I already knew
Yeah.
who
knew,
it
bro.
was without knowing any information.
Yeah, we knew. Come on, man.
So, anyways, back to where you were at.
Yeah, so Todd and his wife came out. There were other people out here for a while, and
It was a fun night, though.
it was
I'll never forget it.
no, it was necessary for us to
Yeah.
like kind of basically just as shitty as it is, make dark jokes and like grieve in our own special way.
Y'all are
What was
fucked
it, like,
up. I
4
didn't say a
fucking
damn thing.
No. It was like literally, he told me I broke down, and then what? Do you remember what I said?
No, I don't.
Dude, I was like, "Do you want to?" You said, "Do you want to hang around?" or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, Dustin sure does, dude." It was fucked up.
No, one of the
You
funny-
said that, and that's probably the 3rd time that you've ever said something where I wanted to punch your jaw.
Dude,
off
we were
your
literally like
friggin'
30
face.
seconds into
There was a
into
point in
the
time where
atmosphere.
like I've never felt like anger in a way where I couldn't control it, where my wife had to control me, but she grabbed my hand and squeezed and just like, no, Todd, don't. I was like,
I'm trying to cope, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to beat the freaking crap out of you. Like, and I'm like a third of your size. No offense. But I knew that I was going to knock the crap out of you.
Oh, no,
my wife controlled. Like, she controlled.
I've said it 100 times. If there's anybody I don't want to fight in this band, it's you.
Oh, easily,
You're squirrely, dude. Bro.
Yeah, you're terrifying.
Yeah, if I can.
But
get
you
a
said
hold
that.
of you,
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Like too damn soon.
Yeah. No. So
just to say it now.
Yeah.
Still too soon. I've only said one of those dang jokes, and I punched
Dang
myself
jokes.
directly
I
after.
said
the
one of them dang jokes. My name's Todd.
Well, that's how me and Justin deal, bro. Through
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah, no, that one I said at practice had you and Taylor fucking floored, and Corey was, for lack of a better word, dying.
Oh my god.
One of the funniest ones though was like 2 or 3 days after he passed. It was the first time I'd seen Kate, his then girlfriend.
Right.
Shit.
She came home and you know we were crying. Dude,
Of course.
the really
Dude, do you want to tell the story about? Are you about to tell it? The first time you broke down over this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Before we get into,
You know what? This is actually a really funny story.
No, it's super funny. So
And we'll eventually get back to the dog story.
yeah. So it's like like I said, 2 or 3 days. It was 2 days. It was the Thursday after.
Pause.
R.I.P.
Miss you, buddy.
That's RIP for people who can't spell. Get some, Todd.
Shit. Oh fuck.
Corey hit that fat rip a little too close.
You're right. Dustin couldn't spell.
That's true.
That's true. So my friend Nora, who's in this project called Princeos, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm wrong, Nora, please correct me. She wrote this instrumental piece called Hope, and she played it for me because she was like, I feel like you could use some uplifting encouragement. And it basically sounded like some shit from Final Fantasy or Legend of Zelda. And I'm like smoking a cigarette while taking like a huge shit. Not just like a normal dump. Like it's like I'd had like wings the night before.
To understand that, she was in a text message conversation with him, and she was not in the room while.
Right. No, yeah. She wasn't like, hey, I wrote you the song, dump.
I have to say the fact that you broke down about your friend passing away
while
pooping
and smoking.
And smoking. To some people might not know you the way we know you, but you were the fucking king of pooping and smoking. The most legendary fucking story. Okay, finish the story. I'm sorry.
So I'm literally like, I'm
shitting.
I'm shitting, and I'm like these notes are just literally hitting me in all the wrong spots, and I'm just like, ooh.
Would you say that they're taking a toll on your bottom?
Anyway, so like I'm like about to cry, but I'm like, I have to wipe my ass. This isn't fair. So I wipe my ass and I flush, and I'm literally like, dude, underwear around my ankles, no shirt, and I fall onto the bathtub, just uncontrollable sobbing.
Just exercising the demons. Bro.
Yeah, dude. I'm just, I'm like,
letting it go.
I am deep boo hoo.
Right.
Boo. Like those.
Right.
Like
the audible boo-hoos.
Yeah. Like I'm at the point like I can't fucking breathe.
Right.
Like so I'm going to die right here.
If there was ever a fatality scene for battle shits, this would be what it is.
Oh, yeah. Those deep, just that type stuff.
What's his name? Chunk or not Chunk? What was the? Damn it! What was his name from the Goonies? What was?
No, it's Chunk. Hey, you guys. Yeah, it was Chunk.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway. So I'm just like, I'm crying.
Justin grieves.
I'm crying. I grieve like Chunk while taking a shit. So
shit.
So I'm like, Todd had to get up. This is hilarious. So I'm like, I'm crying my ass off, and then I just start like while I'm there's like,
oh Oh my
not even like streams of tears, just like giant globs of water. Just like they're welling up like reserves, and then just I needed you a sweater out of my tears, Mr. Krabs. Like that. So sit back down, Todd. It's okay. We're almost done.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I'm not going to tell the story about how we walked in the room. Like, I've told that story a million times.
I will tell that story.
Okay, you can tell that story if you want, but I'm going to finish this first.
All right.
So I'm crying, and then I just start uncontrollably laughing.
Yeah.
And the crying is worse.
Right.
Because now my face is red. I have this massive headache.
Oh, for sure.
From bitching. And I said out loud, because there was no one else in the house, I said out loud while looking at the sky, I was like, I curse you, Dustin. And then I swear I could hear him fucking laughing at me.
I swear.
And I'm just like, fuck, dude. I was like, I'm the one who hasn't broke down yet. I was like, I can't do this.
You're too strong, bro.
Yeah, and I was like, I gotta be tough. Whatever, it's fine. So I do the smart thing. I put on some clothes. I go turn on the TV in the living room. I'm lying with my phone, listening to Timothy by Ass City's Burn.
That's
wrong.
A bad move.
No, yeah, totally. There was no provocation. It was just, I just want to listen to Timothy. I would just want to, it's a really good song. I was like, this feels apt in the moment. I get like 2 minutes in, I'm just
dude.
Nope.
Once the lyrics start,
Dude, I started crying again, and as soon as I did, that's when Kate walks in. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I literally can't listen to that song.
Understandable.
I literally can't.
I get
I'm
why.
gonna
I
go sit
can't.
on the
When
way
they
home.
play it, I cry. When I fucking hear it, when I hear the fucking tears,
Yeah.
it's too powerful.
So then Kate walks in, and she see this is like I said, this is the first time I've seen her, and me and her just start boo-hooing and hugging each other, and I'm just like, I love you. She's like, I love you too,
Yeah.
and all this stuff, and we kind of relax, we're chill, and then Kate says one of those hanging out jokes.
Shit.
And then we're just like it was.
You know what though, bro?
It was just worse coming from her because
Right.
that was his love, his romantic interest.
But
so
his embodiment, dude.
I know.
Like us not making fun of him would be an insult.
Stop,
Yeah, stop.
dude. That's not no. Stop, Todd.
Stop.
Todd, seriously, we were having such a good fucking time.
I will cry right now. You better stop.
Could you get it on microphone, please?
Stop. Stop. Stop.
You're literally hearing us about to kill Todd
Yeah.
on podcast.
Yeah. So we've all had that feeling about each other now.
Okay,
What a way to wreck the fucking.
Let's wreck the ship and see how many boards it takes to put back together.
All right.
We got. all right.
But yeah, so hearing her make the joke was like my jaw unhinged and just fell to the floor. I was like,
Okay.
what?
I got two more things. Todd,
No,
tell
yeah.
your part, and I
Yeah.
want you to say what you said when y'all were in the room.
Oh yeah.
Motherfucker couldn't even.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I should
Okay.
have told that part.
So, the day that we came out, Justin told me that, hey, I've got to go back to the house, and I was like, you can't go alone because that's just you'll end up stringing yourself up. At least that's what I thought. Because at that point in time, Justin was dealing with a lot of crap. Even before Dustin passed, like before he had to deal with that crap. So like I knew that Justin could not go alone. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be in that place. I had more. I at the moment that I found out that Dustin had hung himself, I had more survivor's guilt than I ever had with Garrett, and like I knew that I could have done more, and I knew that walking in, and so we walk into this house that I lived in for 2 years. It was my redemption story, and it killed my friend. Like that place really was the place where I crash landed after my crap, and 3 other people brought me back to a point where I could actually be a living human being. And so we're walking into this place, and it's just this death everywhere. Like it felt like I was breathing nuclear acid or something. I don't know how to explain it. I just knew that I didn't need to be there, and no one needed to be there. No living thing needed to be in this room. And yeah, so we walk into the room, and like what I described earlier, the chair was still underneath the hook. The rope was not cleared by the police. or the coroner's office, whoever did that. And I just remember looking at Justin and being like, "Have you been staying here?" Because at that point in time, it was what, the third night?
No, it was that night.
It was the same night.
It was the same night. Yeah.
And I like just told him he couldn't stay here, and then Justin said, "No, I got to. Like I'm not gonna go back." And I was like, "No, you can't stay here. Like you can come feed a dog tomorrow. We need to find a place for this dog to live, so you never have to come back here." And none of us ever have to come back here. Props to Natalie for like still being on this earth after experiencing what she experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just don't like we walked in that room and fed that dog, and you're like, "Hey, I got to show you something." And then you told me the story of how you played this Insignia song, and you read all the lyrics without flinching, without crying, without tearing, without anything. So I just got to show you something. It's something I showed Dustin last week. And I remember this like well of emotion that happened. Like because I didn't know these things were happening. I knew that Dustin was going through hard times, and he was obviously not himself at practice, but I didn't know it was as bad as it was. And I remember like being in this place of despair that I just lost my friend, realizing that another friend knew it, like being mad at you, and then at the same time realizing like there's nothing that any one of us could do, because you can drag a horse to water,
Can't make him drink.
but you can't make him drink. So like the, yeah, like we've wrote about that metaphor like 3 or 4 times, but like there was this huge like intertwining of like understanding that everything that I'd ever written to this point was about these things, about human connection, and realizing, oh shit, Justin is one of my best friends. I don't know why he still loves me. I don't know why he cares about me, but I know I need to be here in this moment. And so we just sat there after that song was done, and you told me what it was about. We sat there in silence for what, 3 minutes, which felt like a freaking eternity.
Yeah, it was bad.
We just had the door open looking down the hall where we could see where he had just died. Like there was such a strong
presence
that I was like, dude, he's here. You know he's here. You can't stay here. And it took, like we went out and sat on the porch where we felt like, I mean, like we sat there was a red chair on the thing, and there was this bench, and we sat in the way as if Justin was still sitting in between us.
Mm-hmm.
It was the weirdest thing that also felt like he was still there at the same time, and I was so glad that the other people that I didn't like all the time weren't there. Like it was just me, you, and him in that moment, and it was just so like, why the hell are we doing this? And like looking back on it, it was the most therapeutic and cathartic. Like yeah, shit got real.
It's okay. It's what it was meant for. All right, we can wrap this bitch up.
Wait, Justin was supposed to say what he said.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. So when we walked in the room, like it was like the rest of all the air in the house, like the air conditioning was going and all that stuff. But like we get into Dustin's room and it's just a vacuum. It's gone.
Right.
So it's like it's really hard to breathe. Like and like just when you're taking it all in, you're just like,
right.
Whoa!
Like
you didn't do any of that. You just walked to the dog food.
No.
Food in the freaking bowl.
You did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You did. I noticed I couldn't breathe, but I was just like, I'm so used to this.
Right.
Like I'm just my friend's not here. Like what am I gonna do?
Right.
So I go over. I'm like, look. I'm not looking for anything in particular. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
And then just Dustin and I were both really heavy smokers. I go over to his computer desk and I fucking shake his Newport pack, and I look back at Todd and I'm just like, motherfucker couldn't even leave me a cigarette. And Todd's like,
I love it, dude. Yeah,
that weird awkward
Chuck
laugh. Yeah, like you're like I should laugh, but I just don't know if
all
I
right,
can.
guys, salute.
Yes.
Pick them up. Here, we don't smoke in this room, but today we're gonna. There you go, Justin. All right, guys.
Could you say the famous words from Independence Day?
That's one ugly motherfucker.
No.
Smoker if you got him.
No.
What is the words?
The fat lady has sung.
Okay, yeah, the fat lady is definitely sung.
Wait, is that Jeff Goldblum?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, when the cigar. That's right. When they're in the alien ship with the nuclear bomb. Yeah, we're close to that. Justin just poured some beer into a cup. He's ashing in it. We're smoking cigarettes. It's terrible. We're all trying to quit. Todd doesn't even smoke, but he's smoking. Dustin, this is for you, buddy. Mm-hmm. Again, anybody out there, man, if you're struggling, you hit us up. I swear to God, we will talk to you. Whatever you're going through, it's not worth it. Again, just to reiterate, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. It's worth it. I promise you.
And we will not let you ever stay complacently isolated.
For those of you listening, thank you so much. This means more than you ever know, and we love you all.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.